Today is the 26th day post-fern, and let me show you, my barnyard is snow-free, ice-free, finally. But that's not all. The ring is looking good. It's wet, but there's not much white snow and slush out here anymore. But I think the most exciting part of the farm that has finally melted is still to come. My back fields have finally melted. That smaller side paddock is melted, and this rear field just behind the hay barn. Look guys, there is next to no ice out here. The only patch of ice is this one pile that sits directly behind the barn. I was combating that earlier in the week, but everything looks so much better. When Sweetheart heard me back here by the gate, she came, and I've opened up the paddock now. Starting yesterday, these girls, Sweetheart and Snuggles, now have the opportunity to come back here, stretch their legs, and graze a little. I don't know if you can tell, but there is a touch of green grass beginning to pop. So very exciting back here by the brown barn. Snuggles was especially excited yesterday. I'll attach that now. And Sweetheart, poor thing, she was longingly looking at the boys across the field. You know, it's been, gosh, many, many months. You know, she has been separated with Snuggles since August, but she still remembers her friends and she still calls to them. And being back here in this rear field, she does have a better visual of them at times. And so it's a little sad when she just stands there longingly looking, but someday soon she'll be reconnected with her buddies. Here comes Miss Snuggles. Now that the girls are back here grazing very happily, I am going to turn my attention to what I actually set out to do, which was pick the manure out in that ring. Everything has just been super, super soggy and so gross, but now that it's melted, I no longer have any excuses. So I need to get out there and see what I can do. My ever watchful companion, though, is up high. He does like to be up high as of late. I've seen that quite a bit. And keeping a good eye on everybody. Now that the ground has finally thawed and I can get to all of these piles, I am finding that some of them are in various states of solidity. Some of them are just piles of mush, which will be challenging in their own right to pick up, and some of them are still fairly well formed because they're recent post-snow. But what I need to do today is try to get all of this manure out of the paddock and the ring because we're going to get a lot of rain over the next few days. We don't need more rain. It is so gosh darn wet. But with more rain coming, that means I need to pick as much as I can today because everything is just going to get soggier and mushier and even harder to pick after. So that's what I'm up to. Here we have a fairly fresh pile, post-fern. And then we have a pile here that has clearly been here for a while and is becoming one with the ground. This one could actually have been covered by the snow and ice. Who knows how long it's been here. I'm gonna time myself. It's currently 11:33. Let's see how long this ring takes to pick. As I go about picking in the ring, I am so happy to see the grass that is popping up. Very good signs. A pile of manure such as this one here, which you can see has really kind of melted into the ground already, there's very little substance left, is good because all of the nutrients, for the most part, have already leached into the soil, helping to amend and strengthen it. So that's a good thing. I will go ahead and remove what I can. Keeping horses, though, on a small piece of acreage such as we do in these smaller turnouts, we want to make sure that our paddocks don't get overrun. So I don't want to leave all of these piles laying around, even though they are still offering good nutrients into the soil below. I just checked. It's around 11:55. So if you subtract a few minutes for filming, let's just say I was at it for about 20 minutes. I actually thought the ring was going to take a lot longer than that. I guess it just goes to show that the girls really haven't spent any real length of time out here yet. This morning, though, I saw everyone, all 5 minis were out grazing in their paddocks, which was a sight for sore eyes, let me tell you. So I'm sure the amount of manure will begin to increase now that they are grazing and spending more time out here. Again, all good things. Although there's a little teeny grass popping up, Snuggles is telling me, though, that sometimes it's just not worth the time or the effort to chase it and coming back to the hay is preferable. Now that I'm finished back here, it's time to head up front and do much of the same. Out here in the front winter turnout, we also have had significant melting, which is just so wonderful. Only the very edge of this field has any sort of frozen debris still remaining. So by and large, these fields are clear, just like the back. My focus out front is going to be the larger field today. This is where these three have been grazing, again, between like 10 and 4. They come back in for dinner and they go out after breakfast. So they're happy out here. They are grazing, they're eating less hay. All, again, wonderful things. But I haven't been out here to pick since before fern. The horses have only been coming out here for a few days, so there's not a ton of manure, but because it's been several days, I do need to pick what's out there before it gets rained on. I say it shouldn't take long, and there's not a lot of manure, but upon second look, there's actually quite a bit. It's 12:10. Let's see how long this field takes me. I don't know if you have seen the video of last summer when our mower fire happened. My riding mower was very old, and it did kind of begin to flame up on us. Well, the burn spot is still here. I think that's funny. I picked my first pile and I immediately saw that black pile here from the fire, and it just made me think of it. Manure, manure, manure. This whole video is all about manure removal and everything that goes into that, because if you own horses or if you care for horses, this is a really big part of our day-to-day activity, and it takes up a lot of thought and time and attention, and it's never ending. As long as you own horses, you're gonna have manure that you have to worry about and remove, and there's so much that goes along with it, but that's part of it. And to keep healthy, happy horses in healthy, happy fields, we have to remove this stuff, because if not, it just becomes too much, and you do not want to be at a farm that is just covered in muck. Because this field is a pretty good sized field, I have found that the best way for me to pick it all is to really zig and zag my way across. I started back by the winter paddock, and I'm going to slowly work my way down to the far end, and I may be a quarter of the way. Sometimes you get caught in the grass. Kind of a pain. But I am still forever grateful to have grass. So don't get me wrong, I'm not really complaining. It just makes it a little harder sometimes. As I work to pick this front field, I am finding that the ground is very squishy in some areas, and one of these particular squishy areas has quite a bit of a depression. It's almost a hole. So I'm wondering if there isn't a cavity underground here that's opening up a little. I've stomped it down, but I'm going to do the old wear hole trick, and I'm going to stick a sizable twig branch here just to mark it, because I want to come back later, if not today, someday soon, and fill it in with more dirt. So again, if you find a hole in your paddock and you can't remedy it right away, put a stick in it, it marks the hole, hopefully the animals will stay away, and then you know where to come back and fill another time. When I stuck my twig into the ground, it actually went down several more inches. So this is definitely an area I will want to keep an eye on and come back and fill in and tamp down. Here's another look at that hole I found that I've marked with that stick, that twig. Picking your paddocks is a great thing. It allows you to really get out into your fields more regularly. It allows you to check the footing. I found that hole in the ground. It allows you to check on your fencing. You know, some of these oak boards are quite old, and so I need to keep an eye on them to make sure that they haven't snapped or have been, you know, compromised with the horses pushing on them. I don't have an electric fence around this greater field, only that smaller winter paddock at this time. So again, getting out into your fields, walking your fence lines, checking the ground are all really important things to do to provide the most safe and suitable horse care for our animals. Our 3 vernal ponds up here, the top corner, are filled with water. We've been watching these vernal ponds for the last several years. We used to only have 1, best I can recall, and now we have 3. We have 2 side by side, and the third one is just over here behind Shenanigans. It's a lot smaller, but these 2 larger ones, there's only the smallest strip of land between them, And I can't wait to see like when they finally merge. We've even thought like, should we just dig out that piece of land, that dirt in the middle, and just let them become one giant pond? I don't know. I think it's better to let nature run its course and just let it do it naturally. But these are always really fun to watch. And I know the deer, the other birds, all sorts of wildlife do come and they do enjoy drinking from these water holes. Okay. My little boys are up to their usual games, their little antics. They love to chase and play and nip. They're really gentle though. Although they're playing somewhat aggressively, they don't ever seem to harm one another, which is good. But boy, they are so silly, these two. Silly and sillier. Look at them go. When they rip roar around like this, they really do tear the ground up. And we have these divots all over the paddock primarily, not as much in this big field. But I do tell myself that they're just helping to aerate the paddocks. Little holes everywhere. Oh, they're just making such a mess in that paddock. Oh well, nothing I can do. As long as nobody gets hurt. Even Lady is getting in on the action. Here come all three of these crazy guys. Look at her go, keeping up with the young boys. And here comes Rocky. Oh, she jumped a pond. Did you see that? Lady jumped over a vernal pond. Be careful, guys. Be careful. Oh, it makes me nervous. I'm a nervous Nelly. Woo. They're still running around like crazy horses, but I need to pick more, so I gotta put my phone away. But they're so fun to watch. I just always cross my fingers so that nobody gets hurt. Here comes the thundering herd again. Whoa. They're back at it. I think I saw a big tuft of grass sticking out of Rocky's mouth. Maybe it was hay, who knows? I really don't know what's getting into them. You can see it's cloudy. We definitely have like a front pushing in. We're gonna have rain starting tomorrow over the next several days. So maybe they can feel a change in the pressure. I don't know, but they are really full of it today. The boys always play and nip and do their little wrestling, rearing type of thing. But the rip roaring around at like Mach speed, that's not common, or at least not very common, and it's very uncommon for Lady to get in on it. So today is quite a special day around here. Careful on the ice, guys. A little slushy over there. They really do. They want to stop and graze, but they still want to play. They are silly. Silly, silly. You can see where they've torn the ground up here, running around. I forgot to mention, I was out here in this big field picking, in total, more than 60 minutes, but I was probably actively picking for 45, give or take. I did stop, I filmed, I marveled at the horses running around, and I did have to stop, and I gave a few minutes attention to the hole that I found just down the fence line here. So, you know, 45 to 60 minutes probably, give or take. So not a quick endeavor, but I'm so glad to have it done and finished up before the rain moves in. Thank you so much for joining me today here on the farm. We got a lot done. I say we, I did all the heavy lifting. However, you were along for the ride, so thanks for joining. The horses put on a really good show. They had lots of great exercise today. We found that hole in the ground. We marked it with the branch. What else did I do today? I mean, today was a really busy day, busier than I thought it was going to be. But now the winds are beginning to pick up. I hope that the winds haven't affected the video too much. But it's been a really good one. I'm tired. I'm ready for lunch. I'm a little out of energy. But check back soon. We'll have plenty more updates, I'm sure. And hopefully spring is just around the corner. Hope to see you soon. Bye, guys.